Greeting friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to another episode of the weekly playlist. I've got some more games to share with you guys that I have been playing this week. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on the games I shared with you guys this week. And if you guys have any recommendations on games you think I should try out, let me know. I'd also like to hear what games you guys have been playing recently. This week I actually went to a arcade bar with my father. Him and I wanted to just spend a Father Sunday together, and so we went out to this bar arcade that we've been to several times. My dad's a real big fan of playing pinball machines, so he was playing a lot of pinball machines, and I was playing a lot of the arcade games they have there, and played some of my favorites there, like the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles classic side-scrolling beat-em-up arcade game. Got really far in that one. I absolutely love that game because that is old 1989 Ninja Turtles arcade machine that is just an awesome game. Very fun with up to 4 players. I just played that one by myself and got myself about halfway through because this arcade bar actually charges quarters like arcades did. There are some places where they're free, but the drinks are cheap, the food is cheap, and the games are only a quarter to play. So I really like going there just because it's fun. It brings back that old memories of playing through the arcade. But you do have to spend quarters to keep playing. So when you lose too many lives, you got to put another quarter in. So I didn't want to spend all my money on one game, so I did play several others. Another one that I really had fun was playing that Aliens arcade game, which is another side-scrolling game where you can play as either Ripley or Hicks, and you have a gun, and you go through and kill different aliens. Now, of course, there's more aliens in the game than there were in the movies, and there's different ones, like there's flying ones and ones that shoot out bombs and stuff, but it's a really fun game. So if you ever get a chance to play that game, you can play it on like MAME emulators and stuff on the PC if you can't find any place that have arcade machines. That's another really fun one. And then one of my favorite ones that I played through was that classic X-Men beat 'em up. Now this one is just the 4-player one. It's not the big 6-player cabinet. There's very few of those cabinets left, but that was another one that I spent a lot of time on and had fun. I did play some of the original Mortal Kombat, which was fun. I also played some of the old classic arcade Rampage, which is great. And this place also has a Nintendo GameCube hooked up, and they have several different games. So I played some Mario Kart in there while I was eating and drinking. And then I also played some classic NES titles while I was there, which was fun. Now, during my time while I've been home, I recently was on vacation. I actually just started back to work on Thursday. But during this week, I played played a few of these NES titles on my console here, and I've been having a lot of fun with them. And those are the ones I'm going to share with you guys today. And the first one here, and I actually beat this week, is Kirby's Adventure. So this is probably like my 5th or 6th time beating this game. And I did not 100% get all the secrets of it, so I still have to go back and get all the little extra things. But it's a really fun game. This is the first Kirby game to actually introduce his signature copy ability, where you can absorb an enemy and you can take their powers. Not all enemies have powers, but ones like they have a laser power. If you grab them, Kirby will shoot out a laser beam. There's one that I really like. There's this tire enemy. When you suck up the tire enemy, you can turn Kirby into a giant wheel, and he can race through the level, knocking out enemies in his way, which is really cool. Now, if Kirby does get hit while he has a power, it turns into a little star and it shoots out, and you have to try to absorb that ability after a few seconds before it disappears. If it does before you can absorb it again, you lose the ability and you'll have to absorb another enemy. You do have a health bar in the game, which is awesome. So you can take like 6 hits, and there are power-ups and stuff you can get in the game to heal yourself. But overall, Kirby's Adventure is it's a fairly easy game, great game for video game beginners, and just a fun title overall. My first game playing with Kirby was Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy, but that did not have the copy ability. And some cool stuff is that the first boss and first level and stuff from that Kirby's Dream Land game are actually in Kirby's Adventure, so definitely a fun game. There are 7 different worlds, which they call them levels, but in each level, they have different levels you can go through. There's like 6 or 7, and there's always a boss fight at the end, and it is just a fantastic game. Highly recommend you guys check out Kirby's Adventure for the NES if you've never played it. Fun game, awesome title. Next game here, continuing my work on New Ghostbusters 2. I finally made it to the final stage in the game. Unfortunately, I have not been able to beat it, but I've gotten really good playing through this game. And one thing I really love about this game is that it actually follows events that happened in the Ghostbusters 2 movie, unlike the other Ghostbusters 2 game that we got here in the US that was Activision. Is pretty crappy. This HAL Laboratories one is really fun. I'd compare the graphics to like a Pokemon, the top-down game. The characters kind of look like that. You can play as all 4 Ghostbusters, which is great. Winston's in this game, which, some reason they don't like to have Winston in games, but he is in this one. They made him blue for some reason. I don't know why they didn't make him brown, but they made him blue. And then you also have the bonus you can play as Louis Tully. So there's actually 5 characters you can play as. You select 2 characters. His main character controls the proton pack, and the second character is controlled by the computer, and they control the trap that they set out to capture the ghosts. So the first level, you start off in the courthouse, and there's various enemies in the game. There's also the pink slime that is, the main focus of the movie. So there are pink slime enemies you have to capture. And the very first bosses in the game are the Scoleri brothers, which in the courthouse, the judge talked about that he gave the Scoleri brothers the electric chair because they murdered people. And so they were the first boss in the game. So that is something that's really cool, really detailed. They actually brought characters in from the movie into the game and not just made some nonsense craziness that usually happens in movie-based games, especially on the NES. The second level, they go down into the tunnels where the subway and stuff are, and it actually has music from the movie, which is cool, battling different miners and ghosts and stuff. And then they make their way onto the ghost train, which is awesome because that was another scene in the movie, and there actually are floating head ghost bosses in the game. And once you're on the train, if you remember in the movie when they were going through the tunnel, they turned around, all of a sudden there was all these heads on spikes all around, and it freaked them out. Well, those are actually make this in the game. And then you make your way through at the bottom of the train to the engine, and there's a Slimer on there who is controlling, and you have to suck him up, and he's the boss. Then you go off to Dana Barrett's apartment, where you have to make like 6 different cycles through the game and more enemies, and it gets harder and stuff. And then when you make it out the end of that level, you actually see Janosch Ghost come and capture Sigourney Weaver's baby, who plays Dana Barrett. So that was another cool scene from the movie. Then you go down into the sewers where the pink slime is, which that was a really fun level. I've gotten really good at making my way through that. And then you finally end at the museum where Vigo is, and once you beat through that level, you actually get to Vigo. And I got to that, and I got right before the second to final boss where you have to fight Janosch, and I died right before him, but I have been having an absolute blast. So if you want a fantastic Ghostbusters game for the NES, you need to pick up a copy of New Ghostbusters 2. Now, you can get several different versions. This is a reproduction cart that they made for to work in NTSC. You can get ones like this where that has the gray cartridge, and there's different label variations. I just like this one because it fits with my other NES games, but they do have ones like this that have translucent green cases. I've seen them with red, I've seen them with blue, yellow, all kinds of different versions, but it's a fairly cheap game. You can get for like $15, $20 maybe at most. I got mine for a really good deal, and it is a fun game though. I definitely would recommend picking up a copy of New Ghostbusters 2. You can also play it on the emulator, download the ROM and stuff. Very fun game though. Highly recommend New Ghostbusters 2. It's a great title, and it's a fantastic game for the NES that everyone should try out. And the last game, still working on beating Destiny of an Emperor 2. Now, this was a Famicom exclusive game that was not released here in the US. Now, I got a translated Famicom copy on eBay, and I've been having a blast. This is a RPG game. You get many hours in it. There's a lot, and I mean a lot of different characters in the game. Now, this is based off the Romance of the Three Kingdoms novel, which if you played any of the Dynasty Warrior games, those games are based off the Romance of the Three Kingdoms game, and that's what this is. It's an RPG, so it's basically Dynasty Warriors RPG. So you play as Liu Bei, Zhang Fei, and Guan Yu, and your goal is to restore the Han Dynasty from Cao Cao of Wei, who wants to become emperor and take over China. And along the way, you'll meet several generals. Some will become allies that you can recruit to your side, but there will be a lot of them that are enemies. You also run into Wu, which is the third faction that Sun Quan is in charge of. Well, really fun game. The characters in this game all have different strengths and different weaknesses. Each of them also can equip different weapons. Some have swords, some have spears, some have pikes, some have axes, and there's also some guys that have bows and arrows, which is really cool. There's a lot of different weapons that you guys can find throughout the game. You start off with weaker weapons, and as you progress, you level up, and you can equip stronger weapons. You also have armor you can equip to make your defense higher. You have different helmets that you can equip, and then also a shield. And then, there are several different items that you can get, stuff that you can heal yourself, stuff that you can revive characters who have fallen. I really like that the characters don't have health bars, but they actually have it as represented as troop levels. And so the higher your troop level, the stronger your character will be. There are 99 levels in this game, so you can level up your characters to level 99. I'm currently at level 50 right now, and I'm really, really far in the game. I'm in the last section of the game where I finally invaded Wei. I'm continuing my way there to make my way to Cao Cao and Sima Yi to finally defeat them, and I'll have the game beat, because I've been working on this now for a couple months now, putting a lot of time into it, and I can't wait to finally beat this game, because I did beat the first one and absolutely loved it. It's a fun game. Now, the game does not have magic, but they do have a thing called tactics, and you have to have a tactician, which there's some are better than others, and the stronger tactician you have, the stronger your tactics will be. But you can use tactics like fire attacks on your enemies, water attacks, boulder attacks. You can change the position of your forces. You can bring them to the middle, to the back, to the front, and that'll change your attack stats. That'll change how your defense is, and your enemies can do the same thing to you. So you have to watch out for their tactics and stuff, and go after their tacticians. But it is a fun RPG. They have the overworld where you run around through your characters, and you will run into random battles like other RPG games. But it is a fun game, and one thing I don't think I've mentioned in any of these as I've been playing it, that this game does feature a thing called All Out, where you can do auto battles. So when you do like the normal battles, you can just hit All Out, and the game will just run through the battle real quickly, and then you can keep moving on to the other one. And every time you win a battle, you gain experience and you level up. And the stronger your level is, of course, the stronger your character is. You become stronger with your attacks, your defense becomes stronger, so you take less damage from attacks, and you get new tactics and stuff. But it's a fun game, really fun story. I highly recommend you guys check out Destiny of an Emperor 2. You can get some reproduction cartridges on eBay, but most of them come from China, so you'd have to wait a while for them. But you can play the ROM that's been translated on an emulator on your computer and stuff, which is what I would recommend a way to play this. Very fun game. We'll do a quick recap here, though. I talked about, finally beat Kirby's Adventure. I did not 100% everything, didn't get all the little bit of secrets in the game, but I had a lot of fun with this. So I'll probably be putting this one away for a little while now, since I've finally beat it again, and it's like the 6th time. But it is a great Kirby game, and this is the game that introduced Kirby's signature copy ability. Highly recommend you guys try that out. I've gotten so far in New Ghostbusters 2. I finally made it to that final level, and it's pretty difficult, but I'm hoping maybe this week I can finally beat it. That's never beat this game before, and I really want to, and I've gotten really good at it. If you want a fantastic Ghostbusters game, highly recommend New Ghostbusters 2. This is the PAL exclusive Ghostbusters 2 game that we did not get here in North America, and it's such a shame because this is a fantastic game that actually follows the movie and has levels based off the movie, like Dana Barrett's apartment, the sewers, the ghost train, fighting Vigo, the museum, and even the courthouse towards the beginning of the movie. So definitely would recommend you guys check out Ghostbusters 2. And if you're an RPG fan and you love the Dynasty Warriors and their characters, get Destiny of an Emperor 2. It's based off the Romance of Three Kingdoms novel, and you play as Liu Bei trying to restore the Han Dynasty. Such a fantastic game, and you can get the ROM of this fairly easy online, play it on the emulator on your computer or modded Wii or whatever you have. But that's another fantastic game. And then I also talked about the various different arcade games that I had played at that barcade with my dad. Always loved playing old arcade games. The X-Men game was fun. The Turtles was fun. Aliens was really fun. And playing some of those GameCube games. So let me know what you guys' thoughts on. Have you guys played any of these games? Have you played any of the arcade games I mentioned? What did you guys like about them? And of course, if you guys have recommendations on a game you think I should try out, let me know. I'm always liking to find new games to try out. And I'd like to hear what games you guys have been playing this week. I want to thank you for watching. Take care. Have an amazing day. And Sleepy will see you guys next time.